Have you ever wondered how one conflict could reshape the entire world? How the actions of a single generation could define the course of history for decades to come? Today we're diving deep into the story of World War II, a conflict of unprecedented scale and consequence that touched every corner of our planet. It all began in the smoldering ashes of World War I. The Treaty of Versailles, intended to bring peace, instead sowed seeds of resentment, particularly in Germany. Economic hardship, political instability, and the rise of aggressive nationalistic ideologies set the stage for a new, even more devastating war. In Asia, the Empire of Japan was expanding its influence, leading to conflict with China and setting its sights on the Pacific. The spark that lit the fuse came on September 1, 1939, when Germany invaded Poland. This act of aggression triggered alliances, and soon Britain and France declared war on Germany. This wasn't just another European squabble. It was the start of a global firestorm. Germany's military strategy, the Blitzkrieg or Lightning War, was terrifyingly effective. Using a combination of fast-moving tanks, aircraft, and infantry, they swiftly overran much of Western Europe, including France, in a matter of months. By 1941, the war had escalated dramatically. Germany launched a massive surprise invasion of the Soviet Union, opening up the vast and brutal Eastern Front. This would become the largest and deadliest theater of the war, a titanic struggle that would ultimately drain Germany's resources. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, a date that would live in infamy. December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor. This act brought the United States, a sleeping giant, fully into the war, creating the two major factions: the Axis powers, led by Germany, Italy, and Japan, and the Allies, led by Great Britain, the Soviet Union, and the United States. The tide began to turn around 1942 and 1943. On the Eastern Front, the brutal Battle of Stalingrad ended in a catastrophic defeat for the German army. This was a pivotal moment, marking the beginning of the end for the Axis in Europe. In the Pacific, the Battle of Midway was a decisive naval victory for the U.S., crippling the Japanese fleet and halting their eastward expansion. The Allies were gaining momentum, fighting back on every front. The final push in Europe began on June 6, 1944, D-Day. Over 150,000 Allied troops landed on the beaches of Normandy, France. In the largest amphibious invasion in history, it was a heroic and costly operation that opened a crucial second front against Germany. As Allied forces pushed from the west and Soviet forces advanced from the east, they closed in on Berlin. On May 8, 1945, Germany surrendered. Victory in Europe was declared. But the war in the Pacific raged on. The fighting was incredibly fierce, with island-hopping campaigns bringing Allied forces closer and closer to Japan. Faced with the prospect of a costly invasion of the Japanese mainland, the United States made a world-altering decision. In August 1945, atomic bombs were dropped on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The devastation was immense, and a few days later Japan announced its surrender, officially ending World War II on September 2, 1945. The aftermath was staggering. The war left an estimated 70 to 85 million people dead, reshaped global politics, and ushered in the atomic age. It led to the formation of the United Nations, with the hope of preventing future global conflicts, and set the stage for the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. The lessons learned from the immense suffering and heroism of World War II continue to shape our world today, reminding us of the cost of conflict and the preciousness of peace. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through such a monumental period of history.